The following game has no ESRB rating, nor is there any sort of listing for restrictive content found within the game. From what I've seen so far, it does contain space combat, explosions, ships on fire, and what the game considers strong language, although I don't believe that language is considered cursing in modern day civilization terms, but it's still there, and the meaning, I believe, is readily visible, if not overtly listed as such. That being said, if I were to guess as to what its rating would have been, I would say it would most likely have been rated T for teen by the ESRB. So, given that assumption, and again, it is assumption, so of course, viewer discretion is advised, I recommend anyone under the age of 13 not watch the following video. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations. I am Outlier and I bid you welcome to this channel. And joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Starhammer the Vanguard Prophecy. So the premise of Starhammer the Vanguard Prophecy is that you take on the role of a commander of a space-based naval strike group, completing missions for your homeworld that need doing, either fighting and investigating a bunch of pirates and rebels and why they are pirating and rebelling, to fending off the oncoming horde of a alien species with whom you've had no general contact with for the past God knows how many decades, who have suddenly re-emerged and have started attacking your people. There is, if memory serves, also a branching storyline to this game, so the various choices and decisions that I make throughout the various missions and even in between the missions can affect exactly how the ending occurs of this game. And while I've not actually seen the ending or endings or any ending for this game, I've got a feeling that some of the choices I've already made have already been affecting the game. Well, choosing to defend a place instead of investigating something else has led to a change in the storyline. At least that's how I think it goes. To be fair, I've never actually played the Path Untread, so it still remains untrodden, at least as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I could look up what happens, but that's not playing the game, so it's a moot point. And if you haven't seen last episode, I opted to defend part of, well, the one side of the apparently one and only shipyard our people have against an invading horde of fast-moving aliens known as the nautilid. And what I originally assumed would just simply be a whole horde of krill, which would be easy to deal with, turned out to be a whole horde of krill, with a few extra larger ships involved. And now that that's been dealt with, I have two options. I can basically press on the attack and bring the fight, as the saying goes, I believe, to the nautilid directly and try to attack the origin of their assaults on the shipyard, or I can defend the other side of the shipyard from even larger, more heavily armed and armored and deadlier ships. For the record, I took on fighting the mass horde of smaller, faster vessels, specifically so that way I could avoid fighting the larger ships. But it doesn't look like that I'm going to get out of that one. Well, I mean, I can just not do the mission and deal with the repercussions that occur. But we'll see, and as such, this game is of course made by... Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin. Alright, so here we are on what passes for the campaign map. These icons here are various news stories that have shown up in the past, and I've read through them in past videos. So this planet in question is our homeworld. It is not Earth, it is a colony, I'm assuming, that was settled by Earth, and for reasons not shared with me, Earth does not actually play, or at the very least, a direct role in this game, or at least not that I've seen. And this is the shipyard that we are in the process of protecting, known as DM2, I believe. But anyway, apparently they have their own built-in defenses and supposedly patrol ships, but according to the harbor master of last mission, we found out that our strike group was the first ship she's seen in a couple of years, so clearly defenses aren't up to as snuff as everybody thinks. And I can do, as I said, defend the port side of the starbase, where Yardman Felicitor is asking for naval defenses along both port and starboard sides of the station against the incoming pods. The pod is the, I guess, what we're calling a strike group of nautilid, and I defended the starboard side of the section last video. Support side of DM2 is wide open to the broad sweeps of the approaching nautilids. AK, he's our intelligence officer, guy who hands us missions, direct contact to the Admiralty. And basically, bosses tell him stuff, he relays it to us, and vice versa. So he says that this side will be targeted with their heavy artillery, but the open space should leave us more room to maneuver around and flank the hostiles. And I need to clear the port side of Delta Mark II of nautilids. Or I can do beyond the bowsprit, where AK's pushed a third nav point to my deck. Seems he suspects the origin point of the incoming pod is out here somewhere. It's pods, not pod. He's been a bit flaky on the certifications, so I can't be entirely sure this objective has been sanctioned by command. Seems like a comment, that's his official title, rank, I guess, has some suspicions of his own he'd like investigated. Best to keep that to myself, though. Another patrol group should be on the way to relieve us while we investigate. This nav point is quite a way out from DM2, so we won't be able to turn back quick enough if things go south with the shipyards. Hope the yardsman's turrets are more effective than they look. So it sounds like if I go here, the relief group should appear, should being the optimum word here, and help protect the shipyard from the nautilids. But if they don't show up, or they plus the built-in shipyard defenses aren't enough, the nautilids could probably attack the station and probably, if not damage it, certainly destroy it. Especially given the fact that I've left their heavier artillery and ships still alive. Or I can just defend both sides of the station. And since the last time I had a defensive mission or press the attack against the enemy mission, and it turned out almost okay. I mean, we succeeded in the mission, but the people we needed to protect got attacked anyway. So, I mean, I guess we're hunting the larger squids, as the game calls them. So this is our fleet formation screen. The strike group consists of multiple vessels, including 3 vessels that have at some point been the strike group's capital ship, as well as 2 raiders. I do have a third, but I can only deploy so many ships right now, and the third raider is 1 ship too many. So the butter, as I like to call it, has not been used yet. I can also call for reinforcements, but I only have 62 points available, and the raider, the smallest vessel I can request a reinforcements of, costs 610, and I feel like that those points are actually decreasing mission to mission. Could have sworn last mission was like 84 or so. But I can get quite a few vessels, up to from the raider to the corvette to the frigate to the light cruiser. And then it just cycles back to raider again. But, I can't even deploy all the ships that I have, so there's no real point to call in reinforcements unless somebody dies, which thankfully no one has yet. There's still time. Anyway, so let's proceed on with the mission. Portside defensive. Alright, so... Come on, click to expand. There we go. Alright, so I'm guessing this is the Harbor Master. Dice, you've got this. You'll keep my station clear of the squids. And Dice is our character. You'll keep your condition 2, Henrik. We won't let them get within missile range. Reliable, just like your dad was. Our dad was a former war hero who fought the nautilid and survived, won. Anyway, he's an admiral now. He also up and disappeared, but that's an issue for not right now. Because right now, if I remember the controls, I have... I was hoping that when... No, that's my fleet. Alright. Rotate. Somewhere one of these buttons is zoom in. One of these days I'm going to remember the control scheme. And one of these days I'll probably eventually finish this game. Anyway, so it looks like I was hoping that I wouldn't have to fight Krill amongst the larger vessels, but it looks like I'm fighting Krill. Specifically, like 4 there, the other 6 here. As well as another 4 here. So there's 10 krill on the map currently, as well as 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's like another 5 krill here. So there's 5 krill currently, as well as 3 ships known as Guardians. Which apparently fire missiles. So I'm going to have to make certain I have countermeasures completely, So I have to make certain I'm always having countermeasures deployed in some manner, because something tells me acid missiles will hurt. So I got 3 of those and 15 krill I have to kill. And combat in this game, or the game in general, is handled on a turn-based mechanic to a certain extent, where it's currently my turn and everything moves in a turn, and I can move all of my ships within this this is a semicircle, I guess, trapezoid, and basically anywhere within this this blue boundary I can move this particular ship to. So if I move, say, the peanut bar here, then it'll eventually go there. If I move the pound cake to here, as well as the biscuit to here, and then the swordfish, the jam, and the honey to here, just to generally, theoretically, keep the formation intact. This is where they will start at the end of, at the beginning of next turn, I should say. And if I hit end turn, everything moves in pseudo real time. So that's basically how the game is played. Move your ships, select your actions, hit end turn, and then everything plays out. And since we're still relatively far away, there has been no major shooting match yet. So there's that. Also, I have weapon arcs turned on, so the Peanut Bar, which is our destroyer, has a laser to the forward aft, which is denoted by this red triangle, as well as heavy laser guns to the port and starboard, as denoted by these triangles. So anything I want the Peanut Bar to attack has to be within one of these firing arcs in order to actually be attacked. And then the Pound Cake also has firing arcs. This one has a ion stun laser to the fore, and then I believe medium lasers to the port and starboard. Whereas the Biscuit, my Corvette, has a medium laser to the fore section, and small lasers to the aft section. So if anything comes from the port or starboard sides, the Biscuit won't be able to hit it. But unlike my other three larger capital vessels, it can take on enemies directly behind it. And then the Swordfish Raiders that I have, if I can actually click on one, only have firing arcs to the fore. So right, and now we see who dies. And the answer is no one, because, well, everybody's still out of range of everywhere. But that's mostly not due to lack of trying. I mean, I am trying to get closer to the enemy, so that way I can engage them in standard combat. Also, I should point out that while the Swordfish Raiders can keep pace with the destroyer, the Corvette and the Frigate cannot. In fact, the Frigate has the slowest speed out of all of them, which I find surprising. And what I can do is shove more power to the engines, so that way the Pound Cake can actually has a chance on getting towards the battle before it's over. Especially given the fact that it has, I'm sorry, yeah, that's the Corvette. The Pound Cake has, what was that, 10 countermeasures to its name, which means I can deploy 10 countermeasures to protect against enemy missiles, which is probably a smart thing given the fact it's got, well, the enemy has 3 missile launching craft currently on the field. By contrast, the Biscuit has missiles of their own. However, its special weapons like missiles and countermeasures don't get replaced in between missions or even mid-mission. They can only be replaced during large chapter breaks. So while the Biscuit may have started with 10 missiles, I've used up all but 3 of them for other missions, and if I burn through the 3 here, if I need more whatever next mission I choose, I won't have them unless it's considered a chapter change and they're able to dock to restock and rearm. Alright, so I guess this is good for now, so now we continue on. Right, it looks like we've gotten within range of the Krill, and they've opened fire on the Peanut Bar. So it looks like it's taken barely any hull shield damage. However, I'm still going to, because it's relatively out front, put shields up to 42%. Well, I'll go with 41%, just so that way weapons stay at 1/3 power, and the engines. But that means that the engines get cut, so it won't be able to travel as fast. Although we do get a boost to engine speed and distance traveled per turn because of our crew's. What's the word I want to look for? How well the crew gets along. Alright, so, and I did fail to mention that just now, but I put shields at 41% because as soon as they go over 40, your shields start to recharge, although it's only 0.11 points per second, so... I mean, the battle will probably be over by the time the front shield fully gets recharged. Of course, over the course of the battle, I could probably lose the entirety of the forward shield, so probably may not actually matter. In the meantime, I'm going to have the pound cake turn slightly this way to hopefully get more of the krill in its side arc and hopefully take them all out. The biscuit will turn in a somewhat similar manner, just so that way its forward arc can possibly get on these krill. Whereas with the hammerhead, with the peanut bar, I'm going to have them move this way to see if they can directly engage the Guardians. I mean, if I'm able to kill them off before they start firing their missiles, be perfectly fine with that, but something tells me I'm not going to get that lucky. Anyway, now we see what happens. Right, and the peanut bar took a missile directly to the left shield. In fact, they practically lost their left shield. Hull damage the hull seems to be fine at 100%, but the left shield is down to 3 points. So if I pull from everywhere, I'll be able to get it back up to 20. But that means that other shield facings aren't as high anymore. So I'll max out the rear shield just simply because it's got the smallest points out of lowest total point threshold out of all of them. And I'll leave everything else as is. But that means that I no longer have as much shields on the destroyer as I used to. So I'm going to have the pound cake swing this way, and I'm actually going to have it release a countermeasure. Alright, I may have done that wrong. The orders, swing this way, deploy countermeasure. I want to put it right around where the peanut bar is. And then have the peanut bar do a hard turn this way, just so that way it stays within range of the countermeasures. And then I'll have the biscuit turn this way and see if they can't get guns on the Guardian. I was gonna say, it could fit. Remember, there was a way I could have certain ships target certain things. So apparently I can just have them do auto fire, or I can have them target specific vessels. So since the Guardians are going to be a problem, I'm going to have the peanut bar target this Guardian directly. Whereas I'll have the other ships hopefully just take out the krill. I also have the Jam and the Honey, my two Raider swordfish, swing back around this way to hopefully aid in the defense of the peanut bar, because I'm fairly certain if the flagship goes down, we lose the mission. Oh, and it looks like the missile didn't actually hit. I mean, it may have hit the peanut bar, but looks like the swordfish actually took actual hull damage and lost quite a bit of its left shield, so even that out again, and drain and add power to the shields. So that way they hopefully start to recharge. The gem also looks like it took a hit. Alright. And now we can go. Alright, so all manner of stuff is going on. My frigate is off by its lonesome. And so I'll have it swing this way, and I'm also going to have it go up a tier, because I'm fairly certain these crew would fly into it. They still might, actually. Alright, have this swordfish. Right, something tells me this swordfish is just going to slam into something anyway. So I'm going to have it pull a hard turn in reverse. Well, as I have the honey fly off in this direction. I have the peanut butter fly here to hopefully see if it can get, at the very least, its primary guns on this Guardian. And the same with the biscuit. I should probably be going after the pearl, I know, but I mean, I probably should have also deployed another countermeasure on account of the fact that the first countermeasure ended up, well, being used to take out a bunch of missiles. Right, so the biscuit hit somebody, so its navigation is offline. So it can still fire on anything within its arcs, but it's not going anywhere until next turn. However, the thing it bumped into, I believe this krill appears to be dead, so benefits there. Alright, so I'll have the peanut bar do a hard turn around to hopefully get back after this Guardian. I'll have the pound cake turn slightly this way. Also have it even out its shields. And actually put all of it, all of its energy still in the engines. So let's change that around. Of course, at 20%, it's not actually going to be moving anywhere, or at least not right now. So there's that. And then I'll have the swordfish swing back around, because why not? Also have my frigate deploy another countermeasure right here, just in case the others decide to launch more missiles. So we don't even have more missiles. Alright, so Ludo Dairy Bridge, our comm officer, stated, interesting use of past tense, Philister used back there. And then Haven Jinx, our weapons officer, says, Commander's got more pressing issues to deal with than your gossip. And then Dairy Bridge replies, I'm just saying, the Yardsman has a lot of ears on the ground. If Admiral Dice had disappeared, and then we respond with, liven up, Bridge. Keep your civilian talk to yourselves until we run out of active marks on the radar. Haven says, yes, sir. Alright, so it looks like the peanut bar has actually taken some hull damage. I'm assuming from the missile. Just even out the shields again. On the plus side, the biscuit can move again, so I'll have them turn this way. I'm also going to fire off a missile at this Guardian, because why not? I mean, they're using missiles, why shouldn't I use missiles? And I do have to remember not to, I'm trying to focus on at least taking one of the Guardians out relatively quickly. But I do have to remember that even though I'm trying to take out one of the Guardians, there's still 2 left, as well as probably close to over a dozen Krill. And something tells me the battle may actually end up being decided by the Krill. That was pretty good. Alright, so the missile that my Corvette fired is still on target, hasn't actually hit yet, but it will. It's like right next to it. In the meantime, I'll have the Biscuit cycle back around this way, and I have the Pound Cake fly straight towards the targeted Guardian. Maybe I'll get lucky. And the Ion Cannon will have a deliberating will have a debilitating effect upon the Guardians. Meantime, Peanut Butter Bar turns this way. Also even out the windshield. And I'll have the Swordfish turn as well. Just simply because if I don't, they'll just keep flying off in this direction till God knows where. And that's not exactly true. They'll fly until the end of the map, and then I don't know what will happen after that. Let's continue. Right, so I'm still not paying attention, and it looks like a different Guardian fired off an acid missile and hit the Pound Cake. So they lost some shielding. But more importantly, they're now at 83% hull, and that can be a problem. So, new countermeasure goes, we'll say, here. In the meantime, the one Guardian's incredibly injured, so I'll have the Albatross cycle, well, turn this way to see if it can't get one of its side arcs onto the injured Guardian. I say, where's my Corvette? Have the Corvette do a hard turn, see if, well, they too can't also wail upon the injured Guardian, because the fewer missile launching enemies there are, the happier I'll generally end up being. Now then I'll have the Raiders swing around this way. Although it looks like one of my Raiders is about to collide with the Peanut Bar. So I'll have them fly around this way. Alright, now we see what happens. Alright, so something exploded, I think. Am I down a ship? No, this Raider's about to collide with my frigate, though. Yeah, my frigate, though. Alright, so if you're curious as to what my plan is, currently right now it's I don't have one, and shoot everything that moves until anything that's an enemy dies. In the meantime, try to even out the shields so that way there's as much shielding on every side as possible. I'm well aware that sometimes that may be an unattainable issue. And I think the countermeasure is no longer around. Given this control is right where I think it would have been, something tells me the missile may have taken it out. But that's kind of the point of the countermeasures. In the meantime, try not to hit my own people. If the pound cake turn this would hopefully get this guardian within its firing arc. Swing this, the jam over this way. I mean, everything looks semi-balanced in terms of shielding. Not so much for the peanut bar, but if everybody's piling onto it, there's little I can actually do. Also, deploy countermeasure right here. Alright, so that alert is more hull damage, and the peanut bar is low right shield, so we'll just try to even that back out again. And they're now down to 75% hull. This is a large part of the reason why I did not want to play this mission in the very first place. Just simply because bigger ships mean bigger guns. At least that's normally how it goes. In the meantime, angle everybody to take, I guess, swift-ish work of the injured Guardian. Alright, and I just realized this missile's about to hit this swordfish. And it paused just as it's about to hit. I don't know if this is going to save it. But try to deploy a countermeasure here. Also pump as much power as you can into the shields. And it hit before the countermeasure was in place. On the plus side, this Guardian is now dead, so I don't have to worry about him. On the not-so-good side, the jam is now at 16% hull and on fire, so I'm going to have them fly off in this direction. On the other plus side, fairly certain, while I've not been paying much attention to it, I'm fairly certain most of the krill are now dead. So I think I only got like one krill left and these two Guardians. So cycle everything back around this way. And let's go after the injured Guardian now. Means the peanut bar heads off in this direction. Have the jam keep going off in this direction. Can I repair anything? Ram. Guess not. Oh well. I was hoping that they could ram something, but not ram something. Repair the vessel, but at 16% hull, they're basically out of the fight. So I'll have the honey swing over this way just to help protect the jam as it tries to get away, and the pound cake and biscuit will turn towards this Guardian. In fact, I'm actually going to set it up so that way they target this Guardian specifically. Well, I'll have the honey, my one remaining non-on-fire raider, will go after the last remaining krill. Because I'm assuming it's the last remaining krill. And it fired off a missile. Well, this Guardian fired off a missile which hit my frigate, I think, although I think the countermeasure was still in place because it didn't really receive much in the way of damage, although its right shielding took a hit, although it's got ridiculously more shielding than I think even my destroyer does, which is saying something. This way, and as I said, the jam will just try to keep the jam on the field away from as many enemies as I can, but yeah. Anyway, now we see what happens. Alright, so the jam is still on fire, still not participating in the fight anymore. And I think they may have killed the last krill. Which means that the honey swingbacks this way and just, well, I guess, wails on whatever Guardian it feels like wailing upon. As for the peanut bar, they're about to slam into this Guardian regardless of what they do. So I'll bring them up a plane and try to do a hard turn to avoid the Guardian. Same with the pound cake and the biscuit. Well, the biscuit will take a slightly more open turn, just so that way it gets somebody in their forward firing arc. Alright, so this one Guardian managed to slip past all of my vessels, and it looks like it may actually end up being going after the jam. Although with shields at maximum, it's now fully shielded. But regardless, I'll put all power to the engines and have them just keep flying on a non-towards combat trajectory. Whereas I'll have the pound cake do a hard turn this way. The peanut bar do a hard turn this way. Just because this is the Guardian that it's targeting, whereas the other two capital vessels are targeting this one. So I'll angle it slightly more this way, and then the swordfish goes after this one. Alright, so on the plus side, this Guardian is now dead. So this should be the only remaining nautilid, and he's practically dead anyway. So angle the peanut bar here, the pound cake here, the honey here. Biscuit will do a hard turn, whereas the jam just keeps flying off in a off trajectory. Alright, so they did manage to kill the Guardian, although it's pretty close. I just basically keep having my ships after it, and see if they can actually hit it. I think the pound cake isn't going to be able to. It's too far away. Same with the biscuit. Oh well. Anyway. And it dies. And we win. Our marks cleared, sir, but I've got more visuals on more incoming. At least that's what Haven says. And then Dairybridge says, NAVSEC reports are starting to filter through of more skirmishers within the settlement line. Doesn't your comment have anything new for us? And the comment, it's AK, says, Command requests you wait for further instructions, Commander. And we reply with, guess we're here with the guardsmen until further notice. Alright. So the peanut bar managed to kill 13 things, strongest being a Guardian. Took 30 hull damage and lost 75 shields. The pound cake only took out 2 things, and I'm guessing both of them were Krill. Lost 90 shields and 25 hull. The biscuit, by contrast, killed 3 things and took out at least 1 Guardian. Lost no hull and lost 29 shields, but fired 1 missile. It doesn't list the number of countermeasures used. The honey, by contrast, got no kills whatsoever. Lost 7 hull and 12 shields. And then the jam got 1 kill in. It killed 8 krill. Lost 20 shields and 29 hull. Also, the jam did 61 damage, the honey did 121. The biscuit did 171 damage, the pound cake did 231, and then the peanut bar did a whopping 583. I guess when your biggest ship, you do the most damage and kill the most things. Also, there's a war scale with this, and it just went up by 7.4. Or it's currently 7.4. And war skill, I think, affects how our character reacts to certain things. Gotta mention that before. Anyway, so now that that's over, the only mission available to us is to basically proceed on with Beyond the Bowsprit, or Spirit. No, I think it's Spirit. I think Spirit is SPIRT. But I can never, I will never claim that spelling was my strong suit, because it never was. So basically, now that both sides of the shipyard have been defended against endless waves of the nautilid with more incoming, I guess we charge off into the unknown and figure out where the nautilid pods are coming from, and hopefully put a stop to it, so that way they stop attacking the shipyard. Always fun, seems exciting. It's got a mission description of neutral, so I don't quite know what that effect is going to have on the war scale. Although the war scale appears to be listed at 20 for defensive right now, so I'm guessing it added 7.2. But the mission Beyond the Bowsprit, while it sounds interesting and intriguing, and I'm interested to see where the story goes, I'm going to have to put it off until next time, because I'm going to call it here. Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.